funky bass groove. Pop it. Poppin'.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 8 of Conversations in Pencil, the Rough Draft. I'm one of your hosts, Nathan, and this is Taylor. Welcome, Taylor.
Hello.
How are you feeling today, Taylor, about episode 8?
You already know how I'm feeling. Why do I have to repeat myself?
I'd love our listeners to check in with you. It's important to know how my co-host Taylor is feeling today about our podcast.
I'm stressed today, but the podcast should be fine. It's another deep and personal one, as they all have been. So, rock and roll.
Rock and roll. I guess today my main thought is also a little shout out to Coda Bear. Thank you, Coda Bear, for listening. We love you. We love that you're a listener. We really are super glad we were having a conversation, Taylor and I, about how encouraging it is to find somebody who's in a position to listen to our podcast and find some value and assistance in it. So a shout out to Coda Bear. Welcome. We hope today's episode can also bring you some value, can give you some support. We love to see your messages in our socials. How do you feel about it, Taylor?
Oh, I think it's wonderful. It was the guiding force behind why we wanted to do this, because we were just having miscellaneous conversations every day, and it was just like, well, why not put something out there that everyone else can sort of benefit from the conversations that we have. So to have someone comment that is not part of our inner circle is really encouraging. It's wonderful. Yeah. So it's reaching someone at least.
Yes. Because there's times where I look at this as what I would have really appreciated, and even doing it helps me at times to be able to process and figure out and identify exactly what's happening in my life. So I appreciate that from all sides. So would you like me to introduce the episode, Taylor?
Yeah.
Okay, episode 8. It is a lead up for the next episode. This one is titled Rebuilding Self-Trust After Breaking Promises to Yourself. Have you been in this situation yourself, Taylor?
For the last 31 years of
31
my life.
years.
Nah, probably for the last few years, yeah.
Yes. Okay. I really enjoy this idea of acknowledging that part of the pattern of self-sacrifice or people-pleasing, or sometimes pedestaling people, sometimes just putting your needs last and trying to regulate someone else's emotions. All of these types of patterns have tied into this subtle training of breaking the promises to yourself, and it becomes a habit. And it's not about perfection. It's about these moments where you can identify it and show up for yourself, just like you do for a friend. So we're going to share some of our experiences this episode on the moments we are able to look back and say, yeah, these are the moments I broke trust with myself. And I'm deciding to have a look and start rebuilding a different habit and pattern in my life. What are your thoughts, Taylor?
My thoughts is the question I'm about to ask you.
Yes.
Because now you're going to ask me, and then I'm just thinking about what I'm going to say.
Yes.
So the question is, when you say self-trust, what does it actually mean to you? Like, what is your definition of this?
I think of loyalty and I find it easier from the perspective of a friend or a contract with somebody. So, like at work, this is an easy representation in my mind. There is a contract that you enter into to show up and do a job and do the job, no matter how you feel. And we tend to do this quite well at work. We tend to just turn up and just follow these systems that have been put in place to achieve a goal within a business or a workplace or for a boss. And we just keep consistently doing it. The times we don't feel well, the times we are struggling, the times we don't want to, we just keep consistently turning up. And it's not perfect, it's really not. But if you can't, you communicate. You don't make that the habit. Your habit is to just keep showing up and give what you've got to the best of your ability that day and try and maintain the standard everyone's agreed upon. This is how I look at it for myself. That I keep showing up and can trust that I will, and that I don't sacrifice standards, which is a bit different in the workplace. But if you're thinking standards within your own personal life, there's times that I would have to interject, even though it's uncomfortable, with a friend or as part of a group, or someone will do something that is unkind or not okay or crosses a boundary, and you have to speak up. And those are things that, although there is a bunch of resistance, I continue to just keep taking a breath and having that 30 seconds of courage and just doing it. Then when I look back, I go, okay, I am very trustworthy, because I know without a shadow of a doubt, no matter what's happening, this is always the course that I will take. It may be a crazy storm, it may be getting blown all over the place, but I will still do everything within my power to steer the ship in that direction and get to the safe waters. Get back to that he did all he could stage of trustworthiness within myself, I guess. That's how I view it. How do you view it in your experience?
I don't. Self-trusting is a very foreign concept for me over the last 6 or 7 years. I don't know how to do it. I'm learning how to do it at the moment. It's not as easy as making a decision and finding it's a bunch of things that you're unsure of. And when you don't trust yourself, you're constantly seeking validation from others to make sure that it feels right and safe to do. So I'm working on that. And I can sit here and listen and correlate with things that you've said, and I believe that what you've said is true. But in my brain, it's like a foreign concept of, a terrible inside voice that's saying, like, don't do that, don't do this. You haven't done enough. You need to do more, so it's very hard to encapsulate self-trust from my point of view when I'm working on building trust with myself in the decisions that I make.
This is interesting then, because it seems like it's hard for you to define exactly what it is. Has it become clear to you? Have you experienced it with others?
Well, I'm currently experiencing it right now in my life, like trying to figure out if I'm making the right choice, giving people chances. A lot of the time, I've realised now that I'm searching for the negative. I'm not really enjoying the positive things because I just think that there's always going to be a shoe that drops. So I think it boils down to trusting that, as we always say, it's okay for people to make mistakes. And it's trusting that they'll still show up even after they've made a mistake. Which is something that I'm doing now to myself, which is I'm trying to show up. And I'm trying to give people chances again that some people deserve, some people don't. But I guess I'm learning where I'm at, what I need to do, and how to move forward with it.
I think everything you just said is an excellent explanation of I'm not entirely certain, and I'm allowed, there's a lot of grey area, and I'm allowed to make mistakes, and I'm allowed to continue this slight up and down. It's not a perfect, all the time, linear or rising line. It's always just... I see the differences in the way you conduct yourself. I see you continue to consistently show up and have hard conversations and work on your goals in life and keep doing this podcast and keep working on your study at university and keep turning up for your job. I see those trustworthy things when you stand up for yourself and start practicing implementing boundaries, and I can see the effect on you and how much more sure that you are trustworthy to yourself at the moment. And this has been a long time that you have been putting effort into that. And I see the results. And
Yeah,
I guess
appreciate
that's
that.
part of it. Yeah, is sometimes we don't... It happens so subtly, or it happens so slowly, we don't get a chance to celebrate and say, oh no, I have been progressing in this area. And yeah, that's a high five moment, that one.
Yeah. I still don't. I still check with you quite often though, where I'm like, I've done this. I'll do like, 2 things in a day that were bugging me or needed to be done, and I'm like, Nathan, this is all I did, and he's just like, whoa, yeah, power on.
Yeah.
Like, I think I made him do his dishes the other day, and I was just like, yes,
Yeah,
do the
that's
bloody dishes. Anyways, but
yeah. That was a win, yeah. And that was a good moment to recognize that we were having this conversation about taking the small steps, and I just immediately started. And Taylor was thrilled in the moment that I had started rummaging through my terribly messy house and working on something. Just a little bit at a time, which is why it's hard to perceive often. Okay.
okay. So what about? Can you remember a time when you were this has turned into a scat session because I can't English. Can you remember a time? I get that stuck in everyone's head. Can you remember a time where you broke a promise to yourself and it hurt in a real emotional way, and what did that feel like?
Oh, yeah. There is a habit in overthinking where the process of self-regulation isn't really clear. There isn't a clear metric to say in place in my life to sort of go, okay, I have self-regulated. This is the metric I hold it against to see where I'm at in that regulation, to see if I'm able enough to approach something and think clearly and make a decision on something, because I believe it very wise to not make an emotionally charged decision or an overwhelmed decision ever in my life. But there's times where you have to make a decision. Hence the overthinking, hence the preparation at times to say, well, if I'm in this situation, if I'm overwhelmed, this is what I'll do and this is what I'll follow, because in that state, it's very hard to think and process and come up with a viable solution. So not having those metrics in place that I can look at and say, okay, I am at a regulated enough state to make a good decision in this moment, means that I wasn't certain often when I should be making decisions and I left them too long. And I would err on the side of caution at a cost to myself. I would allow something to go past without speaking up about it. Part of the dynamic that I've fed into a connection with someone else was allowing things to go past that were not okay or were unhealthy or persisted for quite a long time. Almost making a decision based upon fear, I guess, that you will lose someone, fear that it will wreck a relationship if you speak up about it, fear of a pattern, so receiving a certain reaction or punishment, I guess you could say. Sometimes it's not punishment, it's not conscious on certain people's behalves. Sometimes it's just their pattern. And it has never been drawn to their attention.
It becomes
yes?
somewhat conscious, though, when you've told them to stop.
Yeah.
And they keep doing it.
That's a big one. The not following through for myself. Because we've talked about boundaries in another episode. And there's parts to boundaries that's necessary to understand it and self-regulate first before you try and communicate, to come to the person and communicate what the boundary is and do share exactly where the line is and what you will implement. And you'd have to be in a reasonable state to do this, but what you're going to implement, because I don't believe in just cutting people off, but I do believe that if someone consistently ignores an expressed boundary and you do nothing about it, if you find yourself in a situation where you're complaining about it, then it's not really fair because you've chosen it. It feels more comfortable for you to just endure someone crossing that boundary than for you to actually implement the communicated result of someone crossing that. For example, here's a simple one.
Whoa.
Sunlight coming through your room there?
No, it's really windy. A storm's coming.
Ah.
Sorry. My bad, y'all.
No, that's okay. As an example, so in a conversation, someone starts yelling at you and raising their voice and intimidating you. And you just pause for the moment and say, hang on, this has become too much. It's quite overwhelming. I'm going to lash out and do something I don't want to do. This is the standard we can agree is acceptable. I want to maintain this as a boundary. I don't want to be yelled at in a conversation, no matter how heightened it is. I'm going to leave and go and calm down. I'm going to come back and relax. And if you come back again and it's sort of still heightened, then they need more time, or you come back and it goes heightened again because you're talking about sensitive subjects, you can put a pause in it again and remind them, hang on, remember, we need to maintain a safe environment for us to communicate. Otherwise, I feel like I'm not communicating, just fighting with myself to not burst out and lash out back or cross my own standards that I wish to uphold within relationships. So you can solve this together, which is the best way to do things. You know, find what works for you both, delve into it and figure it out. But the boundary part of it is setting up a look, if it continues like this, I will exit this conversation until you have calmed down, because I won't participate in a conversation where I'm being yelled at. That's such a great demonstration of a boundary. It's clearly understanding what's not going to work for you. It's communicating it when you're both in a calm state. It's basically forming an agreement or a contract between two people, a verbal contract, and sticking to it. I'm going to show up and do things this way, and keep this quality control basically amongst our connection, relationship, attachment, friendship, whichever one it is, to keep the quality control because it's valuable, and you've both recognized that for someone in the group it is not going to help your connection, not going to build a stronger relationship between those people. So then you have to follow through. But there's times when you get emotionally charged where you can't really think clearly, and you have set something in place and you don't follow through. And those are the things that I have noticed in myself, that I have broken the trust with myself and not followed through on things that clearly are boundaries, because I've been a bit too focused on how angry I was or how emotional I was, and I don't trust myself to communicate in those moments enough, or I don't prioritize going and settling my nervous system down, so I just suck it up, or I make too many allowances for someone else rather than saying, okay, that line's crossed, I'm going to exit here now as promised. And that is something I recognize in myself, that I break trust within myself, because it's almost like I hold a higher standard for how other people are treated than for myself. So it's a bit nerve-wracking to think that is a part I played in the dynamics of what I experienced. That's a part I chose to experience in the dynamics with people throughout my life. I'm noticing it now, and I'm practicing not doing that way anymore. Has there been a time that you recognize when you've broken your trust in your life, Taylor?
No, there's probably been many moments. As it says on the script we have here, it happens moment by moment. It's not something that happens like one time and then that's it. It's something that gradually builds up over time. Probably my last relationship too. I think the being the one to carry the emotional load affected how I thought and processed different situations. So a lot of the time I would run back, not so much run back to them, but sort of try to rebuild what I thought that we could have had. And each time I did that, there was a boundary, or there was a line that was crossed that I sort of overlooked because I wanted to believe the best in people. So with that gradually happening all the time, it sort of deflates you and deflates the purpose of why you're trying to save something that may not be able to be saved, or I guess it's at a point now where it's like, why bend your morals and bend your trust in yourself for somebody that isn't going to allow you to do that for yourself, if that makes sense. Like,
Mm.
if they're going to cross your boundaries and your trust in yourself, then that's already a whole big issue that didn't need to play out. So I guess that's when I've probably lost a fair bit of trust within myself, making the right decisions, fighting with people because they believed that I deserved better, and I was always like, no, like I can see the greatness that this can be, but sometimes I think it's really important to not forget about how you feel about yourself, and if you're hurting, that it's important to reflect on those moments and be like, oh, maybe this isn't the best thing to do. I am bending my trust within myself, and I'm extending myself further than what my capabilities are.
Mm.
So, yeah, and trying to rebuild that is really, really tough.
Mm.
Can be done, but it's very, very tough.
Mm. And it becomes quite difficult because of shame, because we get stuck in these moments and we misuse shame. We misuse its purpose. We misuse what it's telling us. It's interesting, shame. If we have a look at Brene Brown's work on shame, it's quite incredible. It is going to teach you a lot about its purpose and how to utilize it well, and what it's going to tell you. And often we turn away in shame or away from shame. It freezes us in position. We numb out. We try and avoid it. It is a very, very hard feeling to sit in. It's a very hard feeling to allow someone else to sit in. So it tries to protect us, this shame. It tries to stop us and remind us to say, hey, don't do that again. Don't fail again. And we can get stuck in this loop, this shame loop, where we just go in a circle over and over and over again. Or we get frozen where we don't make a move, because it's almost like, well, if I don't try, I won't be disappointed. It's a block, isn't it? It's just occurring to me with the writer's block, the situation on shame. That's very interesting. I saw something the other day that popped up.
It's a comfort.
A comfort. Ooh, that's a nice way of looking at it.
Yeah, it's a comfort because that's what we perceive to be how it should be.
Ooh. The perception of what is the ideal often. Now, I think this is an entirely incredible subject to investigate further. Okay, please, go on, Taylor.
Uh-oh.
What are your thoughts? Okay, let me start. I was watching this video. It was talking about the expectation within ourselves for writers to create something that's amazing. And one of the things for writer's block is to sit down and say, okay, I'm going to write the most garbage piece of word, story, whatever it is you're working on, that I possibly can. This chapter is going to be absolute garbage. I'm going to make it as bad as possible. The point is to get you writing. That is the point. To get motion, action, the doing. Because in the doing, there is a result, and it can be worked on or adjusted or changed at some point. But to get in motion is key, rather than being stuck in this. Shame protects me, because I'll be quite ashamed if I make something that isn't incredible, if I write something that isn't amazing. And it's really incredible to see a writer that you respect, someone that is doing something light years beyond where you are, and they have these same exact thoughts, these same exact shames where they look at it and be like, oh, that was such rubbish. And they feel ashamed about it, but this is something that's changed your life that you've read. And they just had to do it. You almost have to get comfortable with this idea of like, this is not my best, this is the worst, I am just going to show up and be me. No matter what that is, and risk being utterly rejected, even if it's from myself.
Yeah, I'm
And
doing that
this
at
is
the
what
moment.
shame protects you
Yeah.
from. Oh, yes, please go on.
No, just with the whole dating thing. You know, trying to put yourself back out there and stuff, and not pretending to be somebody else, but just being you, and accepting that not everyone's going to love you for whatever reason. And it's like, if I do it and I go in there with the expectation that rejection is a high possibility, but I'm still willing to give it a go, then I guess that's sort of shifting the shame and building that trust that we're talking about within ourselves, instead of just sitting here wallowing in what I think is comfortable for me, without having to step outside of the box.
I recall in a conversation we were just having about you showing up as you also.
Yeah, not covering yourself in a bunch of filters or hiding things from people, just blatantly just being you, which is how it should have been all along. But with the pressures of society and the rejection of past relationships, you just go down a rabbit hole of like, I've got to do this, I've got to look better, I've got to be presentable. Like, fuck that. Honestly, fuck that. Just be you. Like, just accept it, and I believe that the person that is meant for you will not give a shit. Is the rejection still going to hurt? 100%. But, like, it's
100%.
something that you can deal with, though. It's something that you can go, I put myself in this situation. I trust that this is something I need to do to build further trust within myself. So I'm going to do it.
I think of that Amy Schumer movie, where in her mind she turns into a supermodel. So she basically evaporates all of her self-consciousness.
Yeah.
And people just find it incredible and beautiful and attractive. And
But can I just interject for 1 second with the thought
yes,
that
go
came
on.
into my brain? That's not always necessarily true. I've known people that have lost copious amounts of weight. I lost copious amounts of weight from my first breakup. And we were still reaching. We still were reaching for more. It had to be more. You have to do more. You have to be more. You have to look better. You have to do this. You have to do that. Even when you're skinny or lose the weight or do something for yourself, people are still going to be conscious. Conscious? No. What's the word I'm looking for?
Self-conscious,
I
yeah.
forgot the self part. My bad, guys. They're still going to be self-conscious of themselves. So, I guess doing the work is the necessary thing to do, so that whatever body that you're in, you can be like, yeah, I trust myself. I got this. You don't like me? Okay, see ya.
Right. This is one of the things I believe is a step towards building your self-esteem. We always hear things like, this person has low self-esteem, but no one actually still sits there. Well, perhaps people do. Let's not put everyone in the same basket. It's not very often that I hear, here's how you're going to build self-esteem. I think this is one of the steps. Rather than taking shame and wrapping it around ourselves as a protective cloak and masking, not showing ourselves, not being vulnerable, not opening ourselves up to rejection, not risking it. In other words, rejecting yourself before anyone else has the chance. We start to practice being open, vulnerable, honest, dropping our masks, dropping our walls, showing up with us as we are. Consciously choosing to let go of these little protective elements and looking at it from the point of view of, I'm not here to see whether this person rejects me or not. I'm here to see if this is my type of person. I'm here to see if this is my tribe. Perhaps in your life, you can identify a mask now. Perhaps our audience can have a look and look at something they mask and say, that's actually not me. I'm not actually my low self-esteem. I'm not actually my self-conscious self. I'm not actually my past experiences or traumas or triggers. This is the real me, and I'm going to show it. And yeah, it's going to feel like you're risking rejection, but I'm not going to reject myself first, just in case, or because I've experienced it before, or because I want to actually find out if these people that I'm with even like the me that I am.
Which is bringing things into fruition as well. I believe too, if you're going to come in with that negative mindset, more than likely what you're searching for will come true. So it's important to do those gentle rebuilds that we were talking about earlier in the podcast, which were things like doing the dishes and then leaving the rest of the house messy because you don't have the capacity to do any more. Or having that drink of water before you have coffee, having an emotionally supportive water bottle next to your bed. Just doing those little tiny things that will start to bring back the trust in yourself, and you'll be able to go, yeah, I can do that. I can do that. And then you can finally get to a point of, if someone rejects you, it's not going to be the ground-breaking, earth-shattering terribleness that we perceive it to be in our brains.
Yeah. Because there's a number of aspects when it comes to this as well. You are going to be very sensitive if you reject yourself often. If you are somebody who actually continues to reject yourself before someone has a chance, if you are somebody who is searching for where people are rejecting you, you're going to be very sensitive to that, because you're almost wounding yourself and then searching for how people are going to lean on that wound and hurt further. Like someone touching you when you're sunburnt. You've got super sensitive skin. Of course you do if you spend a bunch of time rejecting yourself. Of course you do if you mask and you never actually provide yourself with an opportunity to be you, so no one ever accepts you. No one ever truly values you because you've never actually shown anyone you completely open, vulnerable. How could they accept you? There is so many levels of rejection in not actually turning up as you are. And it's a very painful way to live. I have done this in my life. And the more you can identify and realize that you're doing this, the more, like Taylor was saying, you can start to keep these promises to yourself and practice a new way of life. Taking that time to give yourself what you need. I love what you said before with looking after yourself, with drinking that water before your coffee, with making the bed, with taking that time to breathe. Like you were saying, checking in with your body to say, as if you were a friend looking after, as if you were a friend of yours and you were responsible for looking after them when they were sick or had COVID or couldn't get out of bed or the house was a mess and you turned up and went, it's okay, I got you. I'll do a little bit and I'll take some pressure off. To start looking at yourself from that perspective, not rejecting yourself, not shaming yourself, to start noticing how you treat yourself and start giving yourself the option, the choice to choose differently and rebuild this trust within yourself to say, I will start loving me in this way. I will start accepting me in this way. I won't abandon me anymore. This is something we can all start to do in our lives. This is something I see Tayla doing. This is something Tayla reminds me to do. I do think it's wonderful to find a person that truly wants that type of healthy support for you, from you, and gives it to you also.
Yeah, so essentially saying you all need a Taylor in your life.
Bum
Bum, bum.
bum bum. Unfortunately, Taylor's not available 24 hours a day.
Taylor's not available for Taylor 24 hours a day.
Sometimes she has to sleep. She's not an Energizer Bunny. But this Taylor is my Taylor. She doesn't make suits, but she helps me start washing up my plates in the sink sometimes when I'm not good. She helps kick me off. and we all need that support. We all need the village. Who's in your village? Who's in your friend group? Who is available to you? And how do they treat you? How are you available to yourself? These are some really good questions to ask yourself. These are the things that Taylor and I discuss quite often as we sit there and shoot little kids in the face online.
We don't do that.
We don't do that. It's not that we play Fortnite and dominate a bunch of school
we
children.
don't do that. We're nice, humble
for wins.
people.
We're very humble people. We don't shoot people online.
No, we're sitting there crocheting and knitting as we're discussing the terribleness of these deep and meaningful conversations we share with you guys.
I have 20 jumpers now.
I am a tailor.
I am a tailor. That's really good. Okay. So, how about we do our tapping script for this week on this subject that we've been discussing today, on this rebuilding self-trust, on this forgiving ourselves for breaking our trust, on this choosing a new way. As always, we're going to get Taylor to follow along and do your part. Taylor's busy knitting for a bear, even though it's summer. One day she's going to move to the snow and need this bear outfit. In case nobody knows, Bear is Taylor's littlest massive child.
Yeah, he's got 4 legs.
He's got 4 legs. He's a Rottweiler.
4 legs.
He likes to growl. 4 legs and attitude. He's a teenager. But we're going to look at this tapping thing. We'll get Taylor to do your part if you follow along with her. And we'll focus on, if you're struggling to know where the points are, I have actually finally put a points video on my social media, on YouTube and on Instagram. If you have a look at the Unarmored Man, there's just a little note on the screen that says tap points or tapping points. I cannot recall right this moment. But have a look through. One of them's silent. You can just follow along. to these scripts and have a look at exactly where the points are. I explained it in one of them where the points are, but one of them is just silent, and that's all it is, just a video to go over it. If you ever are looking for a custom script, I do custom scripts. Contact us on our socials.
I have also evaluated them.
And Taylor's evaluation is as follows. Please pay attention, listen up. Taylor, your evaluation, please.
That was very good, very informative. Well done.
Here's a jumper. We like to give gifts and jumpers, in case no one noticed. I have yet to perfect my knitting, but scarves are doable. And hopefully one day AI is going to do all that stuff for us. And in which case I'm going to walk around in knitted onesies. Yeah.
In summer? Ooh.
No, that's a good point. That is a good point. There's no breathing going on there in that. Ooh. That's like a sheep with, like a lost sheep that you see that they find in the wilderness with like 50 kilos of wool attached to it, and it's just looking sad.
Save me.
Get it off me. Okay, before I get distracted with my own lunacy, I like to call it the cartoon in the brain. We're going to do this tapping. So we'll start. You can hear Taylor already yawning, which is exactly what happens to me when we talk about tapping. There's instant relaxation, so we'll start on that karate chop. Have a look at the video if you don't know where the tapping points are on the unarmored man. And we'll say, repeat after me, even though.
Even though.
I am still learning to build self-trust.
I'm still learning to build self-trust.
I deeply and completely love and accept myself.
Love and accept myself.
Even though I am still learning to build self-trust.
I'm still learning to build self-trust.
Yawns are good, my people. I deeply and completely love and accept myself.
Love and accept myself.
Even though I'm still learning to build self-trust.
I'm still learning to build self-trust.
I deeply and completely love and accept myself.
Love and accept myself.
On top of the head, I'm learning self-trust.
I'm learning self-trust.
Not eyebrow. I choose not to abandon myself.
I choose not to abandon myself.
On the side of the eye, I choose a new way.
I choose a new way.
Under the eye, I am starting to build trust with myself.
I'm starting to build trust with myself.
Under the nose, it's not always been easy.
It's not always been easy.
On the chin, I choose to build self-trust.
I choose to build self-trust.
Soft fist on the collarbone, I am building self-trust.
I am building self-trust.
Under the arm, I do make mistakes still.
I do make mistakes still.
The two wrists together, but I keep trying.
But I keep trying.
On top of the head, I'm a work in progress.
I'm a work in progress.
On the eyebrow, one day I'll have so much self-trust.
One day I'll have so much self-trust.
Side of the eye, I forgive myself for not building trust.
I forgive myself for not building trust.
Under the eye, I'm trying a different way now.
I'm trying a different way now.
Under the nose, I'm choosing a different way now.
I'm choosing a different way now.
On the chin, I'm choosing to self-trust.
I'm choosing to self-trust.
On the collarbone, I am acting with self-trust.
I am acting with self-trust.
Under the arm, little steps are enough.
Little steps are enough.
The two wrists together, I am building
I
self-trust.
am building self-trust.
Take a deep breath. Excellent. If you need, go through it again. tapping, even just tapping on yourself, is going to regulate your nervous system. It's going to bring down your stress levels. It's going to help keep you calm. Go through it again if you need to. And reflect this week on what's one tiny promise you can keep with yourself this week in your life. Start to practice this building self-trust. A new routine, which we've discussed before, that beautiful Japanese philosophy of taking a routine and doing it for 1 minute a day. Celebrate that win. Try and do it for the next few days. Try it for the majority this week.
There are
Try it once this week.
apps out there to help you as well.
This is wonderful. Someone to help manage your time and assist you, like a little assistant. I use apps myself to remind me. It sort of bypasses the resistance for me. Everyone's slightly different. Ask us in the comments. We'll share those too. Perhaps there's a lifestyle overhaul that you could do. A little something that you could change. Perhaps it's just the water before your coffee. Just take note of a little tiny act of loyalty to yourself and celebrate that. We are proud of you for doing that. We too ourselves are trying, and we keep failing, and we keep trying again. And this is enough. Thank you so much, Taylor.
Thanks, bud.
This has been such a great episode. I look forward to the next episode, actually. I'm excited for that. Do you remember what the title of that one is?
No.
No? That's okay. Do we want to leave it as a surprise for people?
I think we should, because I
We should
have
leave
no
it.
idea.
That's okay. That's okay. So, perhaps we will leave it as a surprise. He said, as he desperately looked down the list, trying to find...
I'm not looking at anything.
That's okay. So it was the daily habits without burnout. It is the practical application of this episode. Here's some things to try, here's some ideas, here's some questions to ask that you can start to build more of these daily habits that we've been discussing in every episode. So,
Alright guys, I gotta go have a nap.
it's sleep time. We're going to gather our jumpers into a pile and sleep for a while. Thank you so much, Taylor. This has been a wonderful episode. I appreciate you sharing honestly and vulnerably with us today also.
No worries.
And I may not have done our intro, but I'm going to do it in the outro. Our conversations in pencil, the rough draft. That every life is a work in progress worth sharing. And we love to hear from you guys. Until next time, remember, the beauty of life is that you can always erase, redraw, and keep creating. We love you guys. I'd like to see you in the next one. I can't wait to talk to you, Taylor, in the next one. And I'm going to say goodbye. Goodbye, Taylor.
Goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye.
Key sliding, playful and quirky. Brass punches, sharp and perky. Baseline dances, feeling sad.